UN sanctions in response to North Korea's testing of missiles has led to China finally ordering the shutdown of North Korean companies that operate in its own country. Now, North Korean companies in China, including those that have joint ventures with Chinese firms, must shut down within less than 4 months. According to reports, China's Ministry of Commerce and the State Administration for Industry and Commerce said in an online statement that as part of implementing UN sanctions, North Korean entities and individuals that have set up businesses in China must shut down within 120 days of the latest United Nations Security Council sanctions, which were passed on September 11th. So this is great news because look, it's a double-edged sword because on one hand, it's great because you want to cut off resources to Kim Jong-un's regime, but at the same time, the people that are going to suffer most are the North Korean people. But yeah, it's a complicated situation, but obviously China's finally taking some action, so that's good news.
Yeah, and it is a little unprecedented here because China doesn't often crack down on North Korean business interests. And the reason for that is they're worried about creating instability in North Korea. Because if there's instability, everybody's gonna rush across the border into China and cause a giant problem. So they're trying to keep things as stable as possible. And they at most tweak North Korea, but don't hit them too hard. But now I think that they've done their 5th nuclear test earlier in this month. China's thinking maybe it's gonna create more instability if we don't actually take action against them. So now this doesn't cover all the business between North Korea and China. A lot of that is off the books and etc. But it is real, and so to have this go into effect in about like Anna said, in 120 days could make a difference. This one's going to hurt them, dog. And but we don't know what North Korea's reaction will be to that.
Right. Yeah. So that reaction is definitely something to be concerned about. But another thing to keep in mind, and you briefly mentioned it, was that a lot of North Korean businesses that operate in China are done in like a super tricky, shady way. So there'll be like some sort of middleman involved, that kind of like
underhanded.
It's very underhanded
and a little undercover.
Yeah.
That was good.
I was just waiting.
I know, I saw you. You were just.
I was just like, wait, I'm like somebody say something. I can say something.
Oh God, you are unbelievable.
Okay, so by the way, to that point, the rules don't apply to nonprofits or non-commercial infrastructure projects. So there are some businesses that would be exempt. Also, businesses can apply to regulators for exemptions on an individual basis. So they're leaving like an avenue open in which some of these businesses can get an exemption from this new policy.
And they'll say, look, we're not really affiliated with those guys. We're unaffiliated.
Okay, I would have gone with an individual basis, just for the record. Yeah.
All right, guys. Look, it's a serious story. Let's hope to God it works so that North Korea doesn't start a war. If you like this video, you'll love the whole TYT network. Check it out at tytnetwork.com/join.